You're listening to Just a Dude podcast with your host, Nathan. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's roll. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude podcast, your laid-back source for what's been happening across the country. I'm your host, Nathan, just a regular dude bringing you the top stories with a bit of perspective and a whole lot of chill. We're diving into the biggest news from August 29th to today, September 5th, 2025, and we've got a packed lineup today. From political shakeups to sports buzz, I'll break it all down in a way that's easy to follow and keeps it real. So grab a coffee, kick back, and let's get into the top 10 news stories making waves in the United States this week. All right, let's start with some big news out of Washington. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, made headlines this week when he testified before the Senate on September 4th, following a major shakeup at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Apparently, there's been some serious drama at the CDC, with Kennedy stirring the pot by pushing for changes that some folks are calling bold, while others are raising eyebrows. He's been vocal about wanting to clean house, and that's got people talking. From what's out there, Kennedy's testimony focused on his vision for restructuring the CDC to prioritize transparency and accountability. He's been critical of how some health policies have been handled in the past, and he's not shy about it. Supporters say he's shaking up a system that's been too cozy with Big Pharma, while critics, including some Democratic lawmakers, argue his moves could mess with public health efforts. Over 1,000 current and former Health and Human Services staff have even signed a letter saying his actions might be risky. This whole thing's got a lot of layers. Kennedy's push comes at a time when trust in institution is shaky for a lot of Americans, and his approach seems to resonate with folks who want straight talk from their government. On the flip side, the CDC's been a cornerstone of public health for decades, and any big changes could have ripple effects. Social media is buzzing with opinions, with some calling Kennedy a hero for challenging the status quo, while others worry about the fallout. For now, it's a wait-and-see game. Kennedy's testimony is just the start, and there's bound to be more debate as his plans unfold. Whether you're on his side or not, it's hard to deny the guy's making moves. Let's keep an eye on how this plays out because it could shape the health policy for years to come. Next up, we've got a legal battle that's turning heads. On September 4th, a federal judge ruled that the Trump administration illegally froze billions of dollars in funding for Harvard University. Yeah, you heard that right, billions. The White House says they're planning to appeal, but this is a big win for Harvard and a bit of a black eye for the administration's push to shake up higher education. The backstory here is that the Trump team's been cracking down on what they see as a wasteful spending in academia, targeting schools like Harvard for their massive endowment. The freeze was part of a broader move to redirect federal funds, but the judge says it overstepped legal bounds. Harvard's calling it a victory for academic freedom, while the administration argues they're just trying to make sure taxpayer money's not wasted. The story's got folks split. Some see it as the government overreaching into places it shouldn't, while others think it's about time elite schools like Harvard face some scrutiny. Social media is full of takes, with some cheering the judge's ruling as a check on executive power and others saying the system's rigged to protect the ivory tower. It's classic tug-of-war between reform and tradition. What's next? The appeal could drag this out, and it's likely to fuel more debates about how much control the government should have over universities. For now, Harvard's got its funding back, but this fight's far from over. Keep your eyes peeled for what happens in court. It's going to be a doozy. Moving on, we've got some serious intrigue at the Federal Reserve. The Justice Department kicked off a criminal investigation into Fed Governor Lisa Cook on September 3rd, and it's got people wondering what's going on behind the scenes. Sources say federal investigators are issuing subpoenas, but details are still pretty murky. From what we know, the probe's looking into potential mortgage fraud claims tied to Cook. This is a big deal because the Fed's supposed to be above the fray, setting monetary policy without drama. An investigation like this could shake confidence in the institution, especially with the economy already feeling like a roller coaster for a lot of folks. The timing's rough too, with President Trump recently commenting on employment data and pushing for changes at the Fed. On social media, you've got some folks saying this is a targeted hit to clean out the Fed, while others are worried it's a distraction from bigger economic issues. Either way, it's rare for a Fed governor to be in the hot seat like this, and it's raising questions about the central bank's independence. Nobody's saying much officially, which only fuels the speculation. For now, we're left with more questions than answers. The investigation is just getting started, and it could be a while before we get the full picture of what's going on. Until then, it's worth watching how this affects the Fed's moves on things like interest rates, which hit all of us where it counts, our wallets. Sticking with the Fed, another story is brewing around Stephen Miran, President Trump's nominee for the Federal Reserve Board. On September 4th, Miran had a Senate hearing, and let's just say it wasn't a cakewalk. The guy's got a unique situation. He's saying he'd keep his White House job even if confirmed to the Fed, which is raising some red flags. Miran's been a vocal supporter of Trump's economic policies, praising what he calls excellent calls on monetary policy. That's got some senators, like Elizabeth Warren, worried about the Fed staying independent from political influence. The Fed's supposed to be a neutral player, not a cheerleader for any administration, so Miran's dual role idea is stirring up the debate. Social media's got a mix of reactions, of course. Some folks think Miran's a breath of fresh air, ready to align the Fed with pro-growth policies. Others see it as a dangerous blurring of lines between the White House and the central bank. It's a tricky spot, because the Fed's decisions on things like inflation and jobs affect every American, and nobody wants it turning into a political football. The Senate's still chewing on this one, and Miran's confirmation is no sure thing at this time. If he makes it through, it could signal a shift on how the Fed operates. If not, it's back to the drawing board for the administration. Either way, this story's got big implications for the economy, so make sure you stay tuned. All right, folks, let's switch gears to a story out of Texas that's been making waves. Starting around August 30th, the state rolled out new border security measures beefing up patrols and tech along the U.S.-Mexico border. Governor Greg Abbott's been pushing hard on this, saying it's about protecting Texans and cracking down on illegal crossings. It's a big move, and it's got people talking. The new measures include more state troopers, drones, and even some fancy AI-based surveillance systems to spot crossings in real time. Texas is also building more barriers in high-traffic areas, with Abbott claiming it's a response to what he calls a border crisis left unchecked by the feds. Supporters say it's a necessary step to secure the state and reduce things like drug smuggling. Critics, though, argue it's overkill and could stain relations with local border communities. Social media's got a lot of chatter on this one. Some folks are cheering Texas for taking a stand, saying it's about time states stepped up where the federal government's dropped the ball. Others are worried about the costs, both in dollars and in how it might affect people living near the border. There's also talk about whether this could set precedent for other states to take border security into their own hands. This story's a big deal because it's not just about Texas, it's part of a larger debate about immigration and who's responsible for handling it. Abbott's betting big on these measures, but it's anyone's guess how it'll play out long term. For now, it's got a lot of attention, and it's worth watching to see how it shapes the border conversation going forward. All right, let's lighten things up with some sports. The NFL season started this week with the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys in a big opener on September 4th. The league's making it a weekend-long party with primetime matches stretching all the way through Monday. But it's not just about the games. There's some juicy storylines to unpack as well. One big question is whether Buffalo or Baltimore can finally knock the Kansas City Chiefs off their Super Bowl perch. Then there's the Micah Parsons trade to Green Bay, which has fans buzzing about whether it makes the Packers legit contenders. And don't sleep on the second-year quarterbacks. People are watching to see who's going to step up and shine. Social media is going wild with predictions and hot takes. Fans are hyped about their teams, and Parsons' trade's got the Packers fans dreaming big. The NFL is always a unifying force for a lot of Americans, and after a tough few years, it's cool to see folks rallying around football. Whether you're tailgating or just yelling at your TV, it's that time of year again. As the season gets rolling, expect more drama on and off the field. Will the Chiefs keep their crown? Can the Packers make a run? Grab some wings and settle in because the NFL season's already looking like a wild ride. Sticking with sports, the U.S. Open tennis tournament is serving up some serious excitement. On September 4th, Naomi Osaka and Amanda Anisimova were set to face off in the semifinals, and it's a big moment for both. These two have been climbing back up the rankings after taking mental health breaks, and their comeback stories are inspiring a lot of fans. Osaka's been open about her struggles, and her return to form is a testament to her grit. Anisimova's got a similar story, bouncing back after stepping away to focus on herself. Their match is more than just tennis. It's about resilience, and folks are eating it up. Social media is full of love for both players, with fans cheering their comeback and what it means for the sport. The U.S. Open's always a big deal, and this year's no different. With American players like Anisimova holding it down, there's a lot of national pride on the line. Plus, the women's game is getting more attention than ever, which is awesome to see. Whoever wins this one, it's a feel good story. Osaka and Anisimova are showing that taking care of yourself can lead to big things. Keep an eye on the finals. This tournament's got more to come. Back to health news. There's a lot of chatter about COVID vaccines right now. On September 3rd, reports came out saying everything about the vaccines changing. Think new formulations, updated guidelines, you name it. This comes as some states, like Florida, are debating whether to repeal laws requiring childhood vaccines for diseases like measles and polio. The vaccines landscape's been a moving target since the pandemic started, and in 2025 is no different. Some folks are excited about the updates, hoping they'll keep up with new variants. Others are skeptical, pointing to vaccine hesitancy that's been growing, especially after years of mixed messaging. Florida's potential repeal has folks on social media split. Some see it as a win for personal freedom, while others worry about diseases making a comeback. This story is tricky because it touches on trust, science, and individual choice. Public health officials are pushing for high vaccination rates to keep diseases at bay, but there's a vocal group questioning mandates. It's a debate that's not going away anytime soon, especially with state-level changes in play. For now, the advice is to stay informed and talk with your doctor. Whether you're pro-vaccine or skeptical, the changes are coming, and they're going to affect how we handle public health moving forward. All right, folks, we covered the shutdown of Alligator Alcatraz last week, but this week, it's back in the spotlight. On September 4th, a federal appeals judge in Atlanta gave the green light for the controversial immigration detention center in Florida Everglades to reopen, pausing a lower court's order to shut it down. This place, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, has been a lightning rod for debate, and it's back in business, at least for now. The backstory is that a Miami judge had ordered the facility to stop operations by late October, citing environmental concerns raised by groups like the Mikowski tribe and environmentalists. They argued the center, built on sensitive Everglades wetlands, violated federal laws by skipping environmental reviews. But the appeals court, in a 2-1 ruling, said shutting it down would cause irreparable harm to Florida's immigration enforcement efforts. Now the state can keep detainees there and even bring in more while the legal fight continues. This has folks fired up on both sides. Supporters, including Governor Ron DeSantis, says it's a win for border security and a signal that states can take tough action on immigration. Social media's got plenty of cheers for the reopening, with some calling it a bold move to back Trump's deportation push. Critics, though, are slamming it, saying the facility's conditions are harsh and its locations threatens the Everglades ecosystem. There's talk of more lawsuits, including one from civil rights groups claiming detainees are denied legal access. Wrapping up, we've got some tough news from the oil industry. ConocoPhillips, one of the big players, announced this week they're planning to lay off up to a quarter of their global workforce. That's thousands of jobs, and it's hitting workers hard as the company looks to cut costs. The layoffs come as the energy sector's dealing with a lot of uncertainty, think fluctuating oil prices and pressure to shift to cleaner energy. For employees, it's a gut punch, especially in a place where oil jobs are lifelines. Social media's got stories from workers worried about their future, while some argue the company's just doing what it needs to stay competitive. This isn't just about ConocoPhillips, it's part of a bigger trend. Southwest Airlines also announced layoffs this year, and the economy's feeling tighter for a lot of folks, myself included, as I just had a layoff a couple weeks ago. It raises questions about how we balance jobs with the push for new energy solutions, and there's no easy answer. For those affected, it's a rough road ahead, and I'm definitely here feeling it with you. If you're in the industry, it might be time to look at options or reach out for support. This story is a reminder that even big companies aren't immune to the economic shifts, and we're all feeling the squeeze one way or another. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode of Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude podcast. We covered a lot of ground, from DC drama to COVID vaccine changes and football fever. I hope you enjoyed the rundown, and as always, I'm trying to keep it real and break it down for you as easily as possible. Just a quick heads up. Due to some major life changes like that layoff I just mentioned, there's most likely only going to be 1 or 2 more episodes of Just a Dude in the News. While I'm not 100% certain yet, I will continue your weekly news updates as long as I can. But don't worry though, the guest episodes will keep rolling on, so you still get plenty of that Just a Dude vibe. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. Stay informed, stay chill, and I'll catch you on the next episode.